building with AI in 2025 because there's this huge unspoken problem that everyone's running into. And you know what? The solution isn't what you probably think it is. It's not about grabbing the next shiny new model that drops. Nope. So today, let's break down the real playbook for getting AI right. So, cast your mind back just a few years. Remember when AI was, well, predictable? Think about the early 2020s. We were working with models like XGBoost or random forests, right? And they were totally deterministic, rock solid. You could build these really high stakes, predictable systems on top of them simply because you knew exactly what you were going to get every single time. And this really gets to the heart of the shift. On one side, you have the past, deterministic AI. You put something in, you get the exact same thing out. It was reliable, it was testable. But now, we're in the era of probabilistic AI. The same input does not equal the same output. These new large language models, they're creative, they're generative, and they are fundamentally unpredictable. You can give it the same prompt twice and get two totally different but equally valid answers. It's a whole new ballgame. And this unpredictability, it's having massive real-world consequences. Get this, according to a recent MIT study, 95%, a staggering 95% of generative AI projects are failing to even make it out of the pilot phase. And what's the reason? You guessed it, it's this exact issue of unreliability. So yeah, this brings us to what we're calling the predictability problem. This is, without a doubt, the central challenge for anyone trying to build with AI today. Companies are just drowning in what people are now calling AI slop, just a flood of low-quality, inconsistent stuff. That predictability we used to count on, it's gone. And this is why the solution isn't what most people think. The answer isn't a better model, it's a better system. The crucial takeaway here is that chasing the next, bigger, shinier model, that's just not the answer. The real path to success, especially as we head into 2025, is to stop obsessing over models and start thinking about systems. Okay, so what does that actually look like? Let's dive into the new systemic playbook. This is a totally new way of thinking about building reliable AI. This whole playbook really stands on three core pillars. Think of it like a three-legged stool. First, you've got safety, and we achieve that using something called guardrails. Second is reliability, which we nailed down through constant evaluation. And third, the foundation. You got to understand the infrastructure that powers this whole thing. So let's kick things off with safety. All right, diving into the orchestrator's toolkit. So how do we actually build for safety? Well, it turns out you need a specific set of tools, an orchestrator's toolkit, if you will. To build safe AI, you absolutely need the right gear to enforce the rules. So first up, guardrails. What are they? The best way to think about them is as an essential safety net for your AI. They are these structured, automated checks that look at everything going in and everything coming out. And their job is to catch all the bad stuff, toxic content, hallucinations, private data, before it ever escapes into production and reaches a user. And let me be clear, this isn't some optional add-on. This is the thing that turns a cool experiment into a real production-ready system. And man, the ecosystem for these tools is just exploding right now. You've got everything from flexible open source options like Guardrails Hub to super specialized models like Meta's Llama Guard, which is built just for safety tasks. Then you have big, comprehensive enterprise platforms like Calypso AI for huge deployments. The point is, there's a whole world of them out there. The real key is just matching the right tool to your specific safety needs. Okay, pillar number 2, reliability. And we get there through evaluation. Now, what's so crucial to understand here is that evaluation is not a one-time check. It's not something you do at the end. It's a continuous audit that runs throughout the AI's entire life cycle. You're constantly testing for accuracy, bias, and performance. Honestly, this is the missing link for building systems that people can actually trust. And you guessed it, just like with guardrails, there's a whole specialized toolkit for this too. You have tools like Ragus, which are tailor-made for specific architectures like RAG pipelines. Then you've got things like DeepEval, which is really cool. It lets you treat evaluations like unit tests right inside your code. And of course, there are platforms like Langsmith that help you trace and debug the entire system from end to end. And that brings us to our third and final pillar, the foundation, which is all about infrastructure. You have to realize that this entire AI revolution is running on a surprisingly fragile 4-level supply chain. It starts with the chips, from NVIDIA and TSMC. Then, those chips go into the massive data centers run by the hyperscalers.
Level 3 is the LLM providers themselves, like OpenAI and Google. And finally, at the top is us, you. And a break anywhere in that chain can affect everyone. It just makes this whole systemic reliability thing even more critical.
Okay, that's enough theory. Let's get into some real-world AI systems. Let's see what happens when you actually put this systemic multi-tool approach into practice, because this is where it gets really, really powerful. So check out this use case. We're talking about going from a development ticket, a bug report, to a fully merged PR in under 15 minutes. I mean, think about that. A complex software development task, fixing the bug, testing the fix, writing the docs, deploying it, all done in less time than it takes to drink a coffee. This is a process that easily used to take a developer a full day, if not more.
And this timeline just perfectly illustrates the workflow. It's like a symphony. It kicks off with thinking tools like Gemini and Notebook LM to just understand the problem. Then, after about a minute and a half, investigation tools like Cursor and AntiGravity pinpoint the exact line of buggy code. A fix gets made. By the 7-minute mark, tools like CodeRabbit and Lambda Test are verifying the fix. Then, the documentation gets updated automatically by a CodeWiki. And by minute 13, boom, it's merged and deployed. You see? Each step uses the absolute best, most specialized tool for that one specific job.
So what does this all mean? Well, it means the future is orchestrated. This signals a really fundamental shift in our role as builders and developers. We're not just users of one single tool anymore. We're becoming orchestrators, conductors of these complex systems.
And I absolutely love this analogy. The one-tool monk versus the multi-tool maestro. Think about it. The monk tries to use one tool, let's say ChatGPT, for everything. And yeah, the results are decent, but they come with high costs and frequent bugs. The maestro, on the other hand, is smarter. They chain together multiple specialized tools, and the outcome? We're talking 3 times higher quality with near zero incidents. Let's be real. Heading into 2025, the monk's approach is dangerous. The maestro strategy? That's the winning strategy.
Now, you hear a lot of talk about an AI bubble, and you know what? They're not wrong. But here's the thing to remember. The collapse of a bubble isn't the end of the story. It's a transition. It's a filtering process. Think about the dot-com bubble. When that burst, it cleared out the hype and made way for a much more stable, robust internet built by the survivors like Google and Amazon. We're seeing a very similar transition happening right now, and it's going to lead to more stable, more reliable, and ultimately much more valuable AI systems.
And that really brings us to the core message here. Our job, it's just not about pure prompt engineering anymore. That's table stakes. Our job is shifting. We're becoming systems integrators. We're becoming orchestrators. We're learning how to intelligently blend the wild, probabilistic creativity of LLMs with the solid, reliable, deterministic logic of all these other specialized tools. We're becoming conductors of an AI orchestra.